a lot of people that in that house are doing, they have something extremely serious, very extremely serious to talk about. And, and it's child abuse, and I might say straight, so many children are now abused every day of the week, and you don't know what's happening inside a house, and the simple as that. And I might as well say it straight to people, you don't know what's happening. The local authorities, the guards, we can't tell, that somebody's being abused inside the house, especially children, and being abused by their parents or being abused by guardians or whatever the case is. And I'm saying to people, if you know somebody, or if you're afraid, of somebody being hurt or something like that, to talk. If you're afraid to tell TUSLA, I know some people are afraid to talk to TUSLA, the Child and Family Agency, but it can't go on. And there was an incident in Cavan a few years ago, where unfortunately, it was let go on too far. It was let go on for far too long, and the child suffered serious life-changing injuries. And it was let go on for 3 or 4 years, and nobody said anything because they were afraid of the people batting the head of them. And fear. That's what happened. And he was caught in the end, the person that done it, and he's thankfully serving a long sentence, and hopefully he won't get out. But it's just, but that story there rings so many bells. Like I see, if I see my generation, you were given a slap, you were given a few slaps. Just a slap in the hand if you done something wrong. Not anything too serious, like that was okay. That you learned your lesson from that. But nowadays it's not acceptable to slap children, to teach them manners or anything like that. And I call parents out when I see them doing it on the street or seeing them doing anything else. I challenge them. I do challenge them. I know people might say, let's teach them a lesson, I won't do it again. But still, slapping somebody, you're just hurting people. You're just creating a bad feeling, and that's not helping anybody. And that's why I always say to them, talk to your child. Say, you shouldn't do this, or you shouldn't do that. Slapping them is not going to do any good. And I always call parents out for it. And usually they don't say anything back, because that's the old way of doing things. The old way is gone. And I say to young people, if your parents are treating you poorly, like I know one mother, it wasn't her fault. I know this for a fact. It wasn't her fault because she didn't have the money to feed her child. She didn't have the money to feed herself, let alone feed her child. And TUSLA got involved, and TUSLA did, do the corrupt business as they usually did, and blamed the mother. And it wasn't the mother's fault. She was proven in the right, but she was struggling to pay her bills, struggling to pay for the cost they put her child in the child care and everything like that, and it was through the roof, and and no mother should have to go through that, and then having TUSLA run down your neck. And thankfully the girls proved it. It was the girls who proved it and said, it's not her fault. But TUSLA wanted to send her to prison, take her child away. But it wasn't her fault because she got to keep it. Thanks be to God she got to keep her child. That's before I was a political campaigner that happened in Cavan. So that's why many people would be afraid of TUSLA. And I wouldn't blame them. Because they're just corrupt. They won't do, like as I said, but that is, the TUSLA knew about this fellow. They were back into the story. They knew about this fellow. They were afraid of him. The state was afraid of him too. The guards were afraid of him. And you know what happened? He got his head beaten up in the prison too at one stage. Nobody went to see him in the hospital. They just let him in the hospital. No one, his family doesn't want to know him now. His family doesn't want to know him. And that's what happens when you do that to children, because you do it to somebody that can't defend themselves. And if you want, and I say this straight to adults who abuse children or hit children or anything like that, if you want to fight, if you want to go and fight any place, in any part of the world, or do any fighting, you know what, the Irish Army have huge amount of vacancies, and I hear the money is very good for people who are very rebellious, and people who want to argue with people, and people who want to hit people. Because I tell you for a fact, the army won't treat you too well, and you won't be given good conditions anyway. That's for a fact. So if you like hitting people, especially if you like hitting little girls or anything like that, the army's always a great issue. The army's always a great place to go to. They might toughen you up, or they might just teach you some manners, whichever way. But I'm just saying to people, if you know of abuse, I'm telling it's in your best interest to talk to the guards, the local authorities. Don't let it lie. Because we can't let these monsters who abuse children, walk around the streets. We can't let them live in society. And simple as that, they should face their time in prison, and if necessary, not more severe punishments. But it can't go on. It went on too long years ago. People getting absolutely battered over the head with stuff, and that was wrong. That was wrong. It might have taught people manners, but batting people over the head with stuff and hitting people, it didn't do any good for anybody. It didn't do any. It caused more harm than good. It's the same nowadays, and it can't be tolerated. And I say to anybody, if you know of anybody, even adults too, just saying adults on a different subject too, if you know any adults being abused, no matter what age they're, no matter what, or older people too, talk to your local Gardaí and tell them. And if they don't listen, come back to, if you want to come back to me and I move it on a bit. I don't know what I go and kick up a fuss and get something done about it. But it's always, you can't let things slide. Because abuse, nobody should suffer abuse. Everybody has enough issues in their life without having people abusing them. And it's about taking a step and saying, no, we won't tolerate this. And that's what we do in this society. We have to stand up for what we believe in. We have to stand up for people who can't defend themselves. So people who are afraid, people who are terrified of being hit because they stood up against the terrorists, that's how we call them. And we can't have that. We have to stand up as a political activist. You have to stand up too. And if the people who you are talking about and giving out about, if they want to come up and batter you, they can come up and batter you. But they're only going to make it worse. It's as simple as that. Like if one of them wanted to come up, say if one person came up to me and the person who was abusing the person came up to me and hit me, he's basically the bugger, because hitting somebody on the couch is not the best thing to be doing. Then hitting somebody who can speak is not the best thing to do either. And somebody who's very familiar with the judges in Cavan and knows the majority of them from his time in the county council, not a good idea either. Anyway, just a bit of advice. But I'm saying to people on a serious note, all jokes aside, we can't let this happen now, and we can't let the people being abused and they've been saying nothing about it. And I'm saying to people, stand up. If you see something like this happen, stand up, and don't be afraid. Simple as that, don't be afraid. Because hopefully, if the justice system's any good in this country, it should be locked up and thrown away the key. Simple as that. Anyway, please, I can't emphasise this enough. If you know somebody who's been abused, please tell the local authorities or tell the guards. Please tell them. Thank you.